X1TheGamer replies to CrapGamer, saying this: as head of community for a mobile game, I've seen this kind of behavior before. To many, it's confusing. Why would someone who once built a platform-loving Xbox now be calling for Phil Spencer to be fired? Why is it so personal? Answer: because it was never about Xbox. It was always about the ego. He used the community to build his brand. He positioned himself as the voice of the players, the one who told it like it is, the one who really cared. But when Xbox made moves that didn't center him or align with the narrative that he had invested in, he didn't just disagree, he turned bitter. He made it personal, and he weaponized the community that helped him grow. If it were about honesty, he'd be able to give fair takes without turning every post into a crusade. If it were about the games, he'd still be engaging like a fan of gaming, even critically. But that's not what this is. This is about someone whose identity was wrapped up in being right, and when they weren't, they lashed out. We see this pattern a lot in gaming community work. People who wrap themselves in the flag of the quote-unquote fans, but really just want control. They want influence. They want power. They don't show up to build. They show up to dominate the conversation. Every decision becomes a betrayal. Every leader becomes a target. Every strategy becomes a personal affront. And unfortunately, a lot of players unknowingly get pulled into it because of the language sounding authentic. But once you recognize the pattern, it's hard to unsee. These creators burn bridges. Their content spirals into bitterness. And eventually, their platforms collapse under the weight of their own ego. So here's how you tell the difference between honest feedback and ego-driven noise. Are they attacking ideas or people? I do both. I wish the devs cared as much about the community as I do. That's not feedback, that's martyrdom. It's performance. Are they consistent or do they shift with the attention? Game Pass is the future. 1 week later, Game Pass is killing Xbox. That's not honest analysis, that's chasing relevance. Are they building up anything or just tearing others down? I do both. No one listens, the devs don't care. I've been right this whole time. That's not leadership, that's victimhood disguised as vision. I've said this before, recognizing these patterns isn't about silencing criticism because real feedback is gold. Real fans care enough to be thoughtful. Real community leaders don't need to be the main character in every post. They show up, they contribute to their feedback, and they stay honest even when the narrative shifts. Dishonest performance dressed up as advocacy is poison to real communities, and it's on all of us to recognize the difference. The loudest voice in the room isn't always the one that cares the most. Sometimes it's just the one that got passed over and can't let it go.
Expose, expose.